You know, your body is literally replacing almost 4 million cells every single second. Crazy, right? But what if everything we learned in high school biology about those cells was just completely missing the point? Think about it for a second. We're traditionally taught to picture a cell as this microscopic water balloon, just kind of floating around, haphazardly filled with a random soup of chemicals. But what if that's entirely wrong? What if, instead of a chemical soup, a single cell is actually a highly structured, awe-inspiring, breathing cosmic entity? Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, let's dive straight into this, because today we are fundamentally redefining mitosis, cellular division. We're going to examine this through an entirely new lens, the All That's Holy framework, or ATH for short. This framework is going to take what you think you know about biology and launch it straight into the realm of astrophysics and cosmic geometry. So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start by busting the chemical soup myth, then explore the 13-layer microuniverse. After that, we'll track the cycle itself, charging to infinity -1, hitting critical mass at infinity, the actual action of mitosis, and finally, the cosmic reset. Let's get into it.
All right, part one, the chemical soup myth.
Okay, so there is a massive contrast here. The standard view, it treats the cell like, well, a chemical soup, just a random bag of parts blindly bumping into each other until, boom, a reaction happens. But the All That's Holy physics framework completely flips the script. It argues that a cell is absolutely not a chemical accident. It is a structural marvel of cosmic geometry. It's a highly organized, vibrating entity known as a torus. Basically, the ATH framework is telling us a cell is literally a micro-universe, operating on the exact same structural laws as a solar system or a whole galaxy.
Moving on to part two, the 13-layer micro-universe.
You really got to stop picturing that flat, static circle from your old textbooks. Under the ATF framework, the cell is this cinematic, glowing torus. Think of the shape of a donut or a magnetic field. It's a biological engine that literally breathes, and I mean mechanically breathes, through these intense phases of inward compression and outward expansion. It is a dynamic, living geometry that just pulses with energy.
And the absolute key to this torus? The number 13. According to the ATH source material, the cell is built on a hyper-precise 13-layer architecture. It's not arbitrary at all. You've got 7 outward expansion layers handling things like the cell membrane and radiating energy, and then 7 inward compression layers, handling things like DNA supercoiling and internal pressure.
Now I know what you're thinking. 7 plus 7 is 14, right? Well, the trick is they share a center. In the ATH model, we call this the zero layer. It's the absolute balance point, the neutral center of curvature where those inward and outward forces crash together and balance perfectly. And guess what? In cellular biology, we already have a name for this, the nucleus. Yeah, the nucleus isn't just a storage locker for DNA. It is the physical zero layer. It's the anchor holding this entire 13-layer glowing engine together.
And because it's this perfectly structured universe, its life cycle isn't random either. It follows a rock-solid, 5-step universal process called the ATH infinity cycle. This perfectly maps the exact chronological sequence of a cell dividing. We're talking infinity -1, infinity, infinity +1, the physical action, and the reset.
Which brings us to part 3, charging to infinity -1.
So, a cell spends most of its life in this active charging phase. It's gathering energy, accumulating mass, replicating DNA. Essentially, under the ATH framework, it is ramping up its internal curvature and tension. It's climbing toward a state called infinity -1. And this is absolutely crucial. Infinity -1 is the highest stable state. The cell is fully charged, literally bursting with stored tension and potential energy. But it remains fully intact. It hasn't broken. It's like a drawn bowstring, perfectly stable but holding maximum power.
Next up, part 4, critical mass at infinity.
Right as the cell maxes out its capacity, it hits the perfect replication checkpoint. At this exact second, the forces of inward compression and outward expansion balance out perfectly, and the geometry of the division perfectly mirrors the cosmic infinity sign. It is a stunning visual confirmation that we are looking at a literal microuniverse.
Now, this requires a pretty radical mindset shift under the ATH framework. We always think of infinity as just a math thing, right? A never-ending number. But actually, scratch that. Here, infinity is not a number at all. It is a physical state. It is the exact moment of critical mass. It's this fleeting, perfect moment of neutral tension where the cell is balancing right on the razor's edge of transition.
That tips us into part 5, the action of mitosis.
The very millisecond the cell pushes past that perfect balance point, it drops into the infinity plus one state. And this is highly, highly unstable. It's an overload. The cell literally cannot hold the tension anymore. The membrane curvature violently stretches outward. Stability is completely gone, and the system is forced into the physical action of splitting.
And that is the physical climax of the cycle, mitosis. In the 8th H framework, we aren't just talking about a chemical reaction. This is a majestic, dynamic release of geometric tension. The action phase is this violent yet incredibly clean pinch right at the equator of our glowing torus. It physically splits the micro-universe in two. All that crazy energy stored up at infinity minus one, it is finally unleashed.
Finally, part 6, the cosmic reset.
So here we have the cosmic reset. Out of that violent split, two perfect daughter cells emerge. The chaos stabilizes, and the whole system elegantly lands into a brand new, stable configuration. And honestly, this is the most beautiful part. Both of these new cells immediately reset their state right back to infinity minus one. The curvature is balanced again, the tension is reset, and that 13-layer breathing cycle is primed and ready to do it all over again. Life just continues, seamlessly. So we've completely dismantled the chemical soup myth, right? Replaced it with this incredibly precise 13-layer breathing microuniverse, driven by the ATH infinity cycle. But I want to leave you with something to really chew on. If just one single microscopic cell inside you is literally a complete, self-contained universe, what does that make the human body? You aren't just made of cells. You are a walking, breathing multiverse, made up of trillions of synchronized universes. How's that for a perspective shift? Keep questioning everything, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.